Okay, let's go through it quickly. Hey, what do you hear? What do you say? My Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Google+, your sister's ass, the Pony Express. A very ticked off Vic here. You know what ticks me off? The news. Now follow me. There's just so much bullshit going on that it's almost overwhelming. No, actually, it is overwhelming. You got 24/7 news outlets and local news on multiple times a day, and the Google machine just feeds it shit online all day long. It's just too much. I don't know. I just know I can't even turn the TV on or go online sometimes. Anyhow, here's some stuff I wanted to bring up because it caught my eye for one reason or another. They each speak for themselves, so I'm just going to go for it. Okay, so this past Monday, the White House press secretary, whatever the fuck her name is doing her thing with the press there, and it's televised live, and the issue of Trump claiming that 99% of all COVID cases are harmless comes up. The actual word used by Trump was harmless. And so now she has to explain it, so she puts up a chart. This is live on television, and the chart shows 4.6% of fatality rate from COVID-19. Now, I'm not giving an opinion here. I'm just presenting the news, the facts. If 99% of the cases are harmless, but 4.6% of the cases lead to death, then someone has to explain that to me? This was her chart that was prepared by the White House. These are just numbers. There's no brain surgery here. Okay, let's go through it quickly. There are 3 million cases of COVID in the U.S. now. 10% of that is 300,000. Half of 10% or 5% is 150,000. As of today, there are about 133,000 deaths. That is a little less than 150,000, which is 5%. So that's how you get to the number of 4.6% of all cases result in death so far. I figured when you die from something that's pretty harmful, no? Dying is pretty much the most harmful thing that can happen, right? Again, I'm just pointing shit out. No commentary here. Yesterday, I learned that Brooks Brothers just declared bankruptcy Wednesday. They were in business for 202 years. 202 years, and they had $1 billion in sales last year. Now, I get it that sales were obviously hurt these past 4 months due to the COVID. So let me get this straight. 4 months of bad sales knocks a 202-year-old company into bankruptcy. If I ran a successful company for 202 years, I'm pretty sure I would have enough savings to last more than 4 months. Whatever. Look, I'm no genius, but that sounds to me like Brooks Brothers will reorganize and come out on the other side smelling like a fucking rose. But you know what's going to happen, don't you? Of course you do. A bunch of small companies who supplied them all the different shit they sell will get the giant shaft and won't get paid the money they're owed because of the bankruptcy process. That's how it works for the rich in this country. The billion-dollar companies get its nuts powdered and oiled, and small suppliers get poked in the keister by a javelin and have their nuts pulled right off. I'm sure all the executives at Brooks Brothers made fortunes too. Oh, yeah. Anywho, in lighter news, hundreds of Postal Service trucks have burst into flames in recent years, Vice reports. Part of the problem appears to be the age of the fleet, which has been in continuous use since the early 1990s. Now, here's my thing. My pal has a 1969 classic car and a 1978 Ford F100 pickup truck. Both of them are older than the 1990s, obviously, and neither of those two vehicles have burst into flames. Maybe we need to look at the mechanics who are supposed to be taking care of the fleet of mail trucks. Now, look, I understand that those little mail trucks are probably pieces of shit, but things built like shit tend to just break down, not burst into flames. Now I know why snail mail takes so long. The poor postman is putting out a fucking fire during the route. I just want to say something about the Electoral College. First of all, for those of you who think they know what it is and why it's important for fair voting, you really should pick up your Google machine and see why it's even put into place. It's very interesting. Now, I have a lot more to say about the Electoral College, but I won't right now. I'll just leave you with this. Did you know that under the Electoral College, it's actually possible for somebody to be elected president with only 27% of the total votes? That's right. Someone could win the Electoral College with 27% of the popular vote. Now, if someone got 73% of the popular vote, that would be considered an overwhelmingly huge landslide. Imagine a candidate losing with 73% of the vote. Now, take a step back, everyone, on both sides, and just think about how pissed off you would be if your person lost the election with 73% of the votes. You'd scream bloody murder, and you would be right for doing so. Now, go Google why the Electoral College came to be, and tell me if you think this is still a good thing in today's world. And lastly, the government finally started to release the list of some of the people who got the $600 billion in PPP funds. And as it turns out, churches and evangelicals, whatever the fuck you call them, received $7.3 billion of relief money. So let me make sure I have this straight. Religious organizations don't pay any taxes, but the government paid them relief from our taxes. I just want to understand this. So one of those people running a mega church with a private jet and mansions and $70 million in the bank, his church got help from our tax dollars. Remember, tax money is our money. Even though he and his church made millions and millions last year and every year, and he has never paid any taxes? I would like to hear your thoughts on this. I'm just reporting the news. This isn't a religious debate. This is a fact. Religious groups received a taxpayer bailout and they don't pay taxes. Anyone think that's fair? Makes sense? Was a good way to spend $7.3 billion when so many hardworking people and small businesses haven't even seen a fucking dime yet. Well, anyway, that's just a tidbit of what's going on right now. And more examples of just how insane the world is today. The news. That's what fucking ticks me off.